All right, you guys, it is October 1st. So many awesome things happening today. Today is day one of the Diesel Nation Olympics. I don't know about you, but this has been literally the most exciting first day of any month in my 8 years as a coach. Um, I knew this would happen. Like when we come together as a team, such beautiful things happen, and it's already happening, and we just started. And so first and foremost, I want to say congratulations to all of you that decided to join us in the Diesel Nation Olympics. You're drawing the line in the sand to grow your business, to be intentional. I see Melissa's getting her workout done while we're on our call. That's awesome. Knocking out a few stones with one throw. That's awesome. But anyway, you guys, I just feel like this is going to shift the momentum in so many of our businesses, right? I don't know about you, but when we got on that first call a few weeks ago, when I told you about this idea and I said, what if we just decided to hit the reset button and start our businesses from scratch, from day one, with a new energy, with a new togetherness, and I feel like we're on the right track. So are you guys excited about this? I think it's going to be awesome. So one thing I'll just repeat, and I know I've said it a bunch of times, I'm like a broken record. It's so important that you print out the point tracker sheet and get intentional about your goals. Right? We get in this like tunnel vision when it comes to Success Club, and it's, just hit Success Club, just hit Success Club. And we're not thinking about advancing in rank, about recruiting. So print out the sheet and say, how can I help my team? Right? Because this is a team effort, and we're all going to do this together, and we're going to try to maximize as many points that we possibly can for our team. So look at it and strategize. A true business owner would look at this competition as, yes, this is fun and exciting. We're going to gain momentum, but like, how can I grow my business with intention in the months of October and November? I've already done that. We've already started posting our goals. It's time to really, really get serious. The second thing is, you guys know we gave 1 point for Success Club in September. So if you hit Success Club in September, please head to the Diesel Nation Olympics page and drop that emoji or the GIF or GIF, I never know how you say that, in your thread, right? So if you're Team Blue, you go to the Team Blue album in Diesel Nation Olympics, you find the image that says September Success Club, and you drop your emoji there. That is where we will count those points, and that's actually going to be the first leaderboard, right? Is going to be who had the most successful points in September. So we're going to see that coming up in the next couple of days. Do not forget to do that. In fact, do it right after this call. Do it during the call. I don't care, but make sure that you get that done. And then lastly, make sure that you check out the speaker list. Right? We have 2 images for all of our speakers for October, November. It's super important that everybody attends all the calls. Of course, they will be recorded. And with that said, I see our very, very special guest is on. And I don't want to take, I know she's a very busy woman, right? I don't want to take up too much of her time. And I'm going to jump right in. When I said we have to do this competition, we have to have some new and fresh training for the team. The first person I wanted to join us in that journey was Melanie Mitro. And I knew I wanted her first. So I was like, Mel, I have this thing and I need you first. And she's like, yes, absolutely, would love to do that for your team. She is the reigning top coach, 4-time top coach, one of the company's biggest earners. She has the heart of gold. She has a servant heart. I absolutely love her. Blessed to call her a friend. And without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Miss Melanie Mitro.
Hi. Well, hello, everybody. All right. I am rocking the no makeup face this morning. So I apologize for my scary face this morning. Please just don't put me on the big screen. Like, just make it the little squares because it just looks way better. Anyways, I got a facial and I don't want to put makeup on it. So I'm going to just rock the no makeup today and own it. So anyways, good morning. It is October 1st. I know that I sort of hit the ground running this morning with my own team. And so I'm going to share some of the things that I actually wrote down. I wrote down 4 things that I want to make sure that I hit today, because as Christina was talking too, she was talking about intentionality and just being intentional in your business. And for me, the fourth quarter is always where I gain momentum for whatever reason. It's just like everything that you're doing all year long, all the tiny little shifts that you're making in your business all start to compound. And so for you guys, this next couple of months that you're going to be working and doing this Olympics together as a team, you're going to create momentum in the moment. But what you may not even anticipate is that, and I say this to my team, is everything you do right now is setting you up for not just a really solid end of the year, but 2019. And the coaches that come out of the gate and crush it in the start of a new year are the ones that can rock the fourth quarter. And so, when you're thinking about, you have the momentum of the first week of this Olympics group, and just like a challenge group, just like every group we do, there are always people that fizzle and fade into the darkness after 2 or 3 weeks. And I just want you to kind of take a look at your calendar as you start planning for the month of October and maybe even into November and say, you know what? I want to be crystal clear about what could be potential obstacles, what could be potential roadblocks, like when are my kids off of school? When do we have holidays? What are going to be trips that we're going on? What are just some of the rough times, like Thanksgiving and the Christmas holidays? Like, what are things that could potentially be a roadblock or an obstacle for me? And how am I going to put a plan in place so that I'm prepared for it? So I'm actually thinking ahead. And so that is one thing that for all of you, if you can even write down things just for the next 30 days, or maybe you want to just look at the next week and say, hey, I'm a nurse, I work shift work, I'm out of commission, 3 12-hour days, so I may not get to invite, I may not be able to add to my contact list on those days because I'm just sort of in survival mode. But if I know that I'm going to have days like that, if I know I'm going on vacation, you can front load and you can backload your work and you can still thrive, right? And so those are really important things for you guys just to be aware of. So I think the first thing is to kind of pull off the rose-colored glasses and say, what's the reality? Right? What are the goals I've set for myself, and what do I want to hit in the next couple of months, and what am I setting myself up for? And then also to say to yourself, I realize that whatever I do now is going to take a couple of weeks to catch steam. So if you're inviting more, if you're following up more, if you're adding to your contact list more, do not get discouraged if by Friday you're not seeing a dramatic shift in your business yet. Let it take some time. Just be patient. Again, I like to use our transformation as a really good example, because we all know that it's not in week 1 or week 2 that we begin to see our abs pop, right? It's like week 6, week 7, week 8, when it's that compound effect of proper nutrition, lots of water, extra rest, pushing yourself in your workouts. It'll be the same with you. But it sort of starts with getting organized. And so the first thing on my list is this distraction versus being disciplined. And there's a great YouTube video that I listened to last week by Brendan Burchard. And he talks about this concept of being distracted versus disciplined. And I loved it so much that I shared it in all of my groups, all of my coaching groups. And I don't remember exactly what the title was, but he talks about your productivity. And this is one thing that I talk to my team about. And so, as you're sitting here kind of organizing your week, there are times, are you leaving your business up to chance? So if you want to be highly productive and reach your goals, it is important that you get out your calendar and you put on your calendar exactly when you're going to work out and exactly when you're going to build your business, and then what you're going to do during those business hours. And then even within your business hours, we're going to break that down just a little bit further. All right. So a lot of times, and this was the example that Brendan Burchard used, he kind of had a calendar and he's like, how many people wing it. And they're just like, I'll sit down and you sit down for your business and you let other people dictate your time. So you open Facebook and you start checking in with your challenge groups, and then you get a message from a customer, and then you get a message from a coach, and then you're watching, a recording from somebody else. And before you know it, a couple of hours have gone by and you have not actually engaged in any activity that has grown your business. And when I say activities that grow your business, it is adding to your contact list, right? Adding new friends or new followers, inviting people, making new connections and doing your follow-ups, and then creating social media content that has a purpose. Not just something to check off the box, but something where you say, I am making this post because I want this to be the outcome. I'm making this post because I want this type of engagement, right? And you know that going into it. So I think a lot of times we're in this management mode and we're letting our business dictate our time instead of us dictating what we're going to spend our time on. So very simply, one of the things that I do is, number one, is identify your highest productivity time in the day. Is it first thing in the morning? Is it mid-afternoon? Is it late at night? Like, when do you find that your brain turns on and you're creative? So that should be the time where you sit down to build your personal business. All right. So for me, I'll give you my example. It is 5 o'clock in the morning. Wild, but that's when my brain is most creative, from 5 a.m. until noon. Anything after that, it's like I am done. Because I don't know, my brain stops working after noon, all right? And so I will get up in the morning, I will put my earbuds in. I have this app, it's called Beatfulness, and it gives you, like, you can pick, like, start the day, creativity, focus, and it's just sounds. It's like when you go to the spa, those soothing sounds. I put my earbuds in, I get my essential oils, I, drink my morning cup of coffee, and I just do everything on my essential business building list first thing in the morning before I let anything else creep into my time. And it has become such a practice for me. I guard that. So my mornings consist of writing my posts and emailing them to myself. Sometimes I have the photo taken, sometimes I don't. I know what I want my post to be for the day because I've planned my day out. I will do my follow-ups. I'll make any IG stories. I will follow-ups, add to my contact list, just kind of go back, check all of my Instagram sort of messages. I'll, comment on things. So I'm making sure that I've got my traction going, like anything that's going to build my business. That's what I do first thing in the morning. And you can use whatever tracker that your team uses, but I will look at that and I will say, okay, at the end of that hour or 2 hour block, I will keep referring to my sheet to say, what did I do that actually was like engaging people or getting them to sign up? Or was I looking back from the day before at a poll option that I gave about my challenge group? Have I gone back through and messaged all of those people? Those are income producing activities, right? So I always say, what income producing activities have I done during this block of time? And then you can get and do an audit this whole week. Just become super aware. Income producing activities versus managing, right? And so management would be defined as checking in with your current challengers, responding to all of their posts in the challenge group. It would be going live in your challenge group, going live in your team page, posts in your team page, right? That is all management. So there's a difference. The management comes later. The growth always comes first when you're highly productive. And so when I set those blocks of time, right, where I've got my income producing activities, and then after that is finished is when I do things like setting up calls or doing team calls or checking into a team page. And so again, even within that amount of time that I'm going to devote to my team, I say, what's the appropriate sort of ratio that I should have? So it shouldn't be hour-long one-on-one calls, right? Maybe it's 15 minutes or 30 minutes. Maybe it's saying, do I really need to have a weekly standing call with this person who really isn't matching my effort whatsoever? They could be best served on a team call, or who is my runners that I want to make sure that every week I've got a 15-minute call, and I will schedule those during my like non-creative time. So from between 12 and 3, I can talk on the phone and I can put my earbuds in and I can fold laundry and I can clean up the kitchen and I can have like mentoring calls with people and I just put my phone in my back pocket and I talk. And so that's kind of the times that I will do those other activities. Maybe for you, it's on the way home from work or to work or while you're waiting for your kids to get out of practice in the evening, the times where you're kind of a captive audience. Those are the times I'll do one-on-ones and the times that I will listen to all of my podcasts or trainings or calls that I need to listen to. But the one thing I never do is use my actual business building time to listen to trainings, because I just feel like that's not the best use of my time, right? I can do that stuff later. So that's kind of the first thing, is just getting your calendar to a point where you are, number one, always evaluating yourself on a regular basis to say, am I letting my business control me? Am I controlling it? Am I letting distractions to come in? And what are my income producing activities that I need to be focused on every single day? And so that, and I always say that, like at the end of the night, I evaluate, I set my priorities for Tuesday, and then I know exactly what I'm going to do when I walk into my workspace to start my workday the next day. I have a really good idea of what I didn't get finished and what goes on the next day. Another thing too, when it comes to your business and that sort of concept is, I don't know how many of you are trying to grow your team and you're really focused on recruiting activities. And one piece of advice that Keyshawn actually gave me, she was at my team retreat in September and we were having a little mastermind session and she was like, let me look at your IG, right? And so she started looking at everybody in the room, she started looking at their Instagram accounts and she was like, man, you're really great at workouts. Man, you really eat healthy. Man, you drink a shake. Oh, you've got kids. There's not one thing on here that tells me you're building a business or recruiting to your business. And it was like light bulb, light bulb, light bulb. Everybody in the room was like, oh my gosh. And they started getting out their phones and they started looking and they were like, you're right. And so, that is one thing that if you yourself are like, I'm trying to grow my team, every day in your stories, in your feed, should be these sprinkles of your business. And so I don't know if you have this, I don't even know where I got it from, but it's this 22 days of coaching posts. It looks beautiful. I feel like it might be Andrea Crowder's because she always makes those beautiful graphics. But this is something that my team, all my girls that are working on recruiting, they've all committed to doing this for an entire month. Right? Is just being immersed in making a coach post every single day. So this is something that is also important. Also, you can take that on the challenge group front too. I had people that were working to hit Success Club on the last day of the month, and I'm looking at their Instagrams and I'm going, there's nothing in your stories that talks about a challenge group. You didn't even make a post today, like last call for your challenge group. So, I think sometimes we just go through and we're checking off the boxes and we think that we are doing the right things, but we're just slightly missing the mark. So, evaluate yourself and then maybe ask one other person to evaluate you and vice versa. And you give some feedback from an outside perspective that'll help make sure you're on the right track. All right, the next thing is one of my favorite audios to listen to is Grant Cardone, the 10X rule. And I recommitted and my coaches recommitted as well to 10Xing our business. So anytime we want to have massive business growth, anytime we want to just like fire ourselves up, this is what we listen to is Grant Cardone 10X rule. And so if you are saying, I want to move the needle forward, you can't look at your business tracker and just do what's on the tracker. If you want massive momentum, if you want massive growth, you have to 10X your business. And so that means when you get to your 5 new contacts that you added, you say, I can do more. Let me do 10 or 15. And every day you challenge yourself to get to a point where you're like, okay, I got to stop for just a moment. I got to catch my breath. I've got a lot of new people coming in. All right, I'm going to work at having all these conversations. I'm going to close some of these sales, and then I'm going to do the same thing. It's this ability to 10X, your business always. And if you can operate like that, where you're sort of kind of balancing, but challenging yourself, because a lot of times I'll see people that say, okay, that took me 5 minutes. I'm like, you can do more, especially if you have more time. Do just a little bit more. Because if you work to minimums, if you work to Success Club 5 every month, you'll never build a business that's going to pay the bills or allow you to have the freedom to leave a job. You're just going to be paying for your product every single month. And I feel pretty confident saying that because I've been doing it for a while. And I look at the people that are leaving their jobs, they're hitting Success Club 20 plus, right? They really are, for the most part, having that constant people that are coming in. And on that 10x your business, every time I turn a customer into a coach, I replace it with another customer. Because I always want to make sure that I'm not just relying on team cycle bonuses, but there's that commission bucket because you can earn there too. So making sure that if you're transitioning people over to the coach side, you've got another customer that's coming in and taking that place of that commission that's now becoming your team cycle bonus. All right. So 10x your business. Grant Cardone, if you aren't listening, if you don't have a personal development recommendation that's been given to you, that's a great audio. It's one of those things I listen to when I'm getting dressed in the morning. And it's like, man, I want to run through the brick wall and I realize I'm not doing enough. Right. All right. So the third thing is this: whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And I know you've heard that before, but everything in this business rises and falls on what you say to yourself and then when you look in the mirror, or what the narratives are that are playing in your mind right now. And some of those narratives are, I'm afraid to be successful. What happens when I get people that join my team? What will I do with them? Am I good enough? Or I should be further along than I am right now is another one that we say to ourselves a lot. Or I'm not at my goal weight. Why would anybody want to follow me or join me because I don't have a physical transformation? Or, hey, I failed at network marketing 5 times in the past. Why would I be any different this time? Maybe there are people that have told you you aren't worthy, or maybe your spouse does not support you, or you have family members or friends that are getting inside of your head. And, you can't pay your bills with their opinion. And whatever you're telling yourself in your mind is what is going to become the reality. And so your ability to say, first and foremost, the way that I become a really great, solid leader is I got to work on myself. And I have to every day show up and give myself therapy. And so that therapy can come in the form of meditation. It can come in the form of podcasts that you listen to, personal development books that you read, actually going and seeing a therapist, working on positive affirmations. But it is work. And every single one of us struggles with mindset at one point or another. And it is something we work at every single day. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I journal. I do my gratitude. I write. I do my personal development. I read my own devotional, but people always ask me for personal development suggestions. And so I always say, don't read what I'm reading unless you need what I'm reading. We all want to read the hot book that everybody else is reading, but is it serving you? And that's the big thing, is what is going to serve you? And it may take you reading chapters of certain books and going, nope, doesn't serve me right now. Not what I need. You may listen to audios and say, nope, doesn't serve me. But find that person that speaks to you in such a way that gives you a gut check and says, okay, I'm worthy. I can do this. And it is really sort of doing your own challenge group on your brain. It's changing your behaviors, changing your thought patterns, the way you used to think about yourself, and framing them in a positive way. And so those self-limiting beliefs are only self-limiting if you let them be. All right. And you have control over your thoughts and you have the ability to change them, but it will take work. So whatever the self-limiting narratives that you are telling yourself right now, I want you to write them down on a sheet of paper on one half, and on the other half, I want you to write the opposition. And if every single day you have to read that to yourself until you believe it, I want you to read it with conviction until it becomes your truth. Because you can do all of the training, you can invite all you want, you can create social media content, but until you believe in yourself and you see yourself as the successful coach you want to be, you're going to continue to just kind of skip. You're just not going to be able to quite get there because it is all your mindset. And as soon as you overcome some of those things are when you're just going to see the fire explode. It's when you really believe in yourself. And I look at, where did my business catch momentum? It was when I would go on social media and say, I'm taking this business to the top. I was an Emerald coach, and I was like, I don't know who's coming with me, but this train is leaving the station. I'm either going to leave you at the station or you can get on my train. And I remember making posts like that. Who was I? I wasn't like a leader in the company. I wasn't speaking on national wake-up calls or team calls. I was just little Melanie Mitro at her kitchen table trying to build this business with like dishes everywhere, right? And so, that was kind of I just went out there and I spoke from a place of, I don't have the whole staircase laid out, but I'm just going to keep taking a step every day. I'm just going to keep moving forward. And the more that I believe I'm capable of success, I know that it'll eventually become fruition. And so I just had to keep challenging the things in my mind that might have been holding me back and pushing myself through them. And it's just a daily practice of finding what works for you. All right. Yes. Speaking your vision. Absolutely. So with that being said, I think sort of as you're kind of going into, the next 2 months, and I'll like open it up and we can go through some questions if you want to kind of ask me some things. But I think number one, get yourself organized, right? Get your calendar together, get rid of the distractions, focus on your income producing activities every day. And even if you just want to make a list of these are the things that I feel are my income producing activities, right? Write them down. Maybe you want to photocopy, sheets of that so you can track your own business. 10x it. If you have big goals, if you think it's going to take you till 30 days to get to diamond, add another 15 days because it's probably going to take you longer than you think, right? So, and then the people you have right now, do not count on them, right? So always have more in that funnel, always have more in that bucket, right? The people you have may not be the people you end up with. So you want to just be proactive versus reactive. Your mindset is huge and being intentional with your business. All right. Now,
fantastic
questions.
So you guys, I want you to drop questions in the chat. Okay. So I know you guys must have questions. Take this opportunity since she has a little bit of time to answer some questions, but I wanted to ask you while we wait for the questions to start coming in. If you were a brand new coach right now, but knowing what you know, right? So you've been in the business, you obviously had massive success with this business. What would be your first step? Like, what would you do first?
If I was brand new, today was my first day as a coach. Oh man, gosh, it's so hard to pick just one. So I would only build my business on Instagram. I would learn everything I could learn about Instagram stories, and I would invest from the get-go. I would sponsor ads to build my business. And I would do it not on like a challenge group advertisement or a coaching ad. I would do it on something that's just going to get the right eyes onto my page. So whether it's a fitness video or something that sort of is your brand that's going to get people in. But I never invested in my business from the get-go. I did everything myself. So I think that setting aside 10% of your income to invest back in your business is really, really important. So, ads and help.
That's the money maker right there, you guys. I would be writing that down right there. Okay, so we got perfect, Melanie. Thank you.
Yeah,
all right,
sure.
I am going to see the questions. Demetria asked, do you write your posts all in the morning? Like all your posts for the day, you write them in the morning?
Okay, so it depends on the day. I'll give you a couple of examples. So yesterday morning, I was going shopping with my mom. We had this shopping day planned, right? And so I knew that I wanted to write a post about my mom and I spending quality time together. But I didn't want to sit in the car and make a post before we went into the mall after we took the photo, right? So in the morning, when I was doing my business, I wrote my post and emailed it to myself. And then my mom and I took the picture, I filtered it, copied, paste, post before we walked into the mall. Let's say I know that like tonight we have kids get off the bus, it's dinner, it's basketball practice, team call tonight. I know I need a post to go out this evening. I know what the post is going to be about. I'll take the picture. I'll write the post. It'll be sitting in my inbox waiting for me to go. Let's say tomorrow I have nothing to do. I may just wing it because I don't have anything that I know is going to pull me away from the time. So yes, it really does depend on the day, but I do think ahead because I hate when I get to like 9 o'clock at night and I don't have a post up and I know I needed to have one. I don't like that feeling where I just throw it together because it's never really that good and it doesn't do really well. So I've just learned to kind of know what days I need to have content ready. if I think of a really good post, I type it up and I email it to myself, and I just have a folder of all of like my post ideas, and I just title it the title of the post, and I'll take pictures throughout the week. So that is something that I find it's kind of freed me from that like feeling like I've always got to come up with content. And when I want it to be really good, that's definitely what saves me.
Bam. That's awesome. That's intentionality, you guys. Like, end of story. That's what being intentional looks like. All right, I'm going to go to Ashley's question, but I'm going to take you back a couple years, but in today's business environment. Okay, so the question is, how do you find new people? But not Melanie Mitro, 4-time top coach, because I know that you do have a lot of people that just come to you because of the success you've built. So I'm going to take you back a couple of years when you were, in the emerald, pushing to diamond range. But in this business environment, not what you did back then, but what would you do right now?
Yeah. So back then it was Facebook, I like found people, but I think you can still do that. So the one thing I'll say from them that is still very much relevant that I teach even now to emeralds, like coming in when we're talking about finding people, is connecting with everybody that you can think of. So, I mean, I went back and connected to every high school friend that I wanted to be friends with. This is something different. I'm like, do not friend request people you wouldn't want to be friends with, right? So if you look at somebody's Instagram or Facebook and you're like, ooh, I wouldn't want to invite you over for coffee. Don't friend request them. They wouldn't be your tribe, your people, or if you only want to work with women, don't be friend requesting a bunch of men, right? Even if you went to high school with them or college, like how would that serve your needs, right? So that's one way. Even connecting on Facebook in groups. So, MOPS groups or local community pages. I just always am very active on different platforms in our community because it allows me to make connections with people. But on Instagram, this is the big thing that you can do now. And so I like to say cross promoting. And I spoke at an event here in Pittsburgh, I think it was 2 weeks ago. And I said, one of my goals and things that I do is I follow my local hashtags. So I follow Mars, Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And so anytime that somebody tags that location, it pops up in my newsfeed because I follow that hashtag. And so I find local businesses that way. I found like a juice bar that just opened up in the city. And so I made a goal for myself because I am also a homebody and I would never leave my house if I didn't have to. And I was like, once a week, I'm going to go to a new spot and I'm going to get myself dressed and I'm going to either meet a coach for coffee or I'm going to go work somewhere. I'm going to take a picture in that location. I'm going to write a review on where I went. I'm going to tag them. And so I'm going to start doing like cross promoting, right? So because everybody wants to kind of help each other out. So it can be a restaurant, it can be a juice bar, it could be a yoga studio. Found a really cool boutique by searching local hashtags. And I even reach out. I'm like, hey, you have a great boutique. I've got a decent sized following. If I, wore your stuff, would you promote me and I'll promote you? And so just thinking of ways that you can like network with other business owners because everybody on Instagram is trying to get their word out. So if you can use your audience to help them and vice versa, that'll bring you new people and it'll bring them new people as well. So when it comes to like adding and connecting, that is one thing I do every single week that is working really well. It's just connecting in the local environment.
Awesome. That's a great Instagram tip, you guys. Another one for you to write down and implement right away. And then last question, Melanie, because I know we're short on time here, but Erica asked, do you lead with fitness or with the coaching opportunity? What's your strategy every single month?
So it depends on where now I lead with the coaching a lot. I don't know. I guess I still do both. I'm very much split down the middle. I mean, I do more heavily on the fitness. Like I used to run 2 and 3 challenge groups every month. So like all the time I was advertising for challenge groups. And so as like a diamond, all the way up until maybe 18 months ago, I would have ran a Lift 4 group starting today. I would have had a Shift Shop group starting on the 22nd. And I would have had a general challenge group starting in there too. Like I would have taken everything that Beachbody was putting out and that's what I would have been doing. Right. So that is why I get such a high Success Club points because I was but it doesn't serve me as much anymore where I'm at because I have a team. And so I have to say one challenge group, Melanie, just one, because I have people I have to serve. And so for me, it makes more sense for me to bring people into my business because people are finding me for coaching. And I've got, so it's just where I'm at right now. So the old Melanie would have done challenge group after challenge group after challenge group. And I would have ran them like I was in an interview and I wanted them to hire me so bad, which meant I want them to be on my team. So I would like give them the best customer service because my goal was to get them results so they would become coaches, right? And so now that I've kind of got that funnel going, yes, I talk about coaching a lot more now, but you need both. Every month you need the fitness and the business. Otherwise, I think when you're just business, you just come across kind of like, I think you need both of them coming together. That's my personal opinion.
It's so funny because as I started my business and started really building it, I was the same way. I would start like 2 to 3 challenge groups a month. It was like this like crazy clip of challenge groups. But hey, it was like whatever it took to get people excited to join. I had Halloween group and like this group and that group and this and the free group and it was just like all the groups because I just wanted people, you know. So,
and I didn't want anybody to fall through the cracks. I was like, if I could get somebody in a Lift 4 group, and then, like I wanted to meet everybody's needs, but I was running 5 challenge groups and then 3 coach groups, But if you're only running challenge groups, why not, So.
Absolutely. All right, Melanie, I will let you hop off. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. I know the team agreed, right, guys? Wasn't that awesome? Okay. I can't wait to see you on Wednesday and give you a big hug in Las Vegas. You guys, this week is leadership, so we get to go to Las Vegas. I know. Boo hiss.
It'll be so much fun.
I know. Thank you, Melanie. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I will see you later. Bye, everybody.
You guys stay on, though. Diesel Nation, stay on. I have some announcements. Okay, so that was awesome, right? And I wanted to address some of the questions that popped up into the thread myself. Because I wanted to kind of cover the flow of what's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks through the Olympics and with Diesel Nation as a whole. First and foremost, everybody needs to understand that those Emerald Decide to Rise calls, those are continuing, right? Tonight at 8:30, Amanda Sobel is going to be doing our first Decide to Rise call. And I mean, this is the opportunity, you guys. If you want to start being really intentional on advancing in rank or helping your coaches advance in rank, then you need to be sending them the link for that Zoom call. She's about to drop that in the Diesel Nation Olympics page. Of course, it's going to be in the Rising page, right? The Diesel Nation Rising page. But you guys, those calls, they work. I have advanced a ton of new Emeralds on my team because they watched the call. In fact, 2 are popping this Thursday who watched those calls, whether it was mine or somebody else's. Erica, you just did a fantastic one a couple weeks ago. This is what we do. We invite to things. So Valeria, you had asked, how do you present the coaching opportunity? How do you train your coaches? So I wanted to answer that question because every single month we host a coaching sneak peek, and that's going to happen. In fact, there's likely going to be one next week, right? So you have to always be aware of what's happening within the team because we put on those events for you. But if you guys have taken the time, which I highly recommend that you do, going into the content buckets, has anyone really dug into those? All right, well, Melanie picked number 1. Look at that. Melanie picked up a sheet that said the 21 days of coaching. Well, that's in the content buckets, right? Girl, I got you. Don't act like I don't got you, right? I think it was Melissa Alexandra. Melissa Alexander was the one that was part of that particular content bucket. She dropped that image for you. And if you look at what Lily Rubio and I put together on the first one that says business opportunity, we share with you the top recruiting videos that not only our team has put on, but the one that Brooke Lipoff put together, that's fantastic. I mean, you guys, you have all the tools to present the coaching opportunity. You just have to do it, right? That's the whole fearless part about it. You just have to do it. So that's number 1. How do we train our coaches? Anybody want to answer that question? Diesel Nation Academy! I got you, right? Like we took the time, we put together Diesel Nation Academy. There's no reason why you can't be confident to bring coaches onto your team, because all you have to do is draft an incredible welcome email to your brand new coach. I'll share the one that I share with my new coaches, that shares with them to do Diesel Nation Academy. Here's our team training website. We built that site for you, right? So that you can feel confident in recruiting coaches onto your team and having the tools to help them be successful. Okay, so all these things, you guys, are for you. They're not just for me, right? They help me, of course, because I get to send them to my coaches, but use them, right? Utilize these tools that we have for you. Let's see. What else? I'm trying to look. Okay, Instagram, Grace. I wanted to just talk about Melanie Mitro's Instagram stories and how she invites. I don't take a whole lot of time in studying people's Instagram stories because I'm really focused on mine and building mine and my flow and all that. There is never a time that I don't look at Mel's Instagram stories and there's not an invite to something, whether it's to the business and it's, she's building a story of her coaching business, of how she started, of Matt not supporting her, but then she saved her birthday money, and then she did this, and then she did that, and then, or inviting to her challenge groups. So it's like this constant, right? It's jab, 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 right hook. What content can you provide on your Instagram stories that when you do talk about an invite to your challenge group, or you do talk about the coaching opportunities coming from a really sincere place? But I will tell you that just look at her stories, and I'm sure it either there's one there right now or it's coming. Like, she's about to do an invite on her Instagram stories. It's this constant showcasing of what you do, both lifestyle, coaching, fitness, the business. That is what gets people thinking about it, right? If you do one invite to the coaching opportunity on Instagram stories and then 3 months go by, don't be upset that people aren't joining your team, right? Because people need to see things 6, 7, 10, 13 times before it starts to sink in. So you have to be consistent in that regard. All right. We have the arsenal. Thank you. Yes, Avi, we have the arsenal for you to be successful. The key to being successful is that you implement. Get your trackers out. Start tracking. Start having intentional conversations. Remember, just don't throw spaghetti on a wall. Every conversation that you start should be with the intent of serving that person, whether in fitness, business, or both, with an open heart, and you'll start getting a return on your time investment. All right, you guys, are you ready? Team Black, what team? What team's the winning team? Team Black, Black. All right, you guys, I'll post a recording in just a second. Make sure you thank Melanie if you did an Instagram story of our call, which is always a great idea. Tag her so that she can put it up on her Instagram stories. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.